Welcome to the Men's Conference Podcast. I'm your host, DC. And of course, I am joined by my cool brother, that is Laz.
Obvious.
Okay. All right. But remember, this is the Men's Conference Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get to follow, like our page. That is the Men's Conference Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And as usual, we are joined by two lovely ladies. One is always here troubling us all the time. Spitting facts, yes, but sometimes we disagree with her. And that's Azariah. Azariah, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Laz and DC. Good to see you both. And yeah, guys, you can find me on Facebook, Azariah is it now. On TikTok, you can find me trending with Azariah, but I also go by the auntie of this generation.
Yeah.
the modern aunt.
Yeah, I've noticed. Yeah. And we've got the lovely Nomsa. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here.
How does it feel to be on the Men's Conference Podcast?
Weird, but
doesn't feel weird.
It feels weird being on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes, when you're watching
Yeah.
from outside, you have an opinion.
Yeah.
It's different when you're on the podcast itself. So
Yeah.
What's your initial perception of the Men's Conference Podcast?
I think my perception is that the topics that are shared are relevant for this generation. Because some people are afraid to talk about the things you guys bring about, and instead they would rather take the safe space. So you are risk takers, really. So.
No, thank you very much. I just hope you don't get
Yes.
assassinated. I hope you just don't get assassinated.
Well job well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For being risk takers, yes. And it's a pleasure to be invited. I do not have any TikTok. I'm not even subscribed on TikTok. So. She had a whole profile. I'm just a mom. I'm a professional, and yeah. And my name is Nomsa.
Amazing. So, how does it feel? Knowing that a lot of people actually. Have you actually noticed that a lot of people are actually going through like relationship stuff, but they're just afraid to talk about it? Have you had people come and approach you, and get some advice?
Well, to start with, the job I do partially involves me advising people when the relationship's not really working and they want to separate. So I'm a lawyer by profession. So
nice.
Yes, I have had quite a number of people. I have been married and divorced myself. So, well, you could say by experience. People want to know what your experience has been.
Yeah.
And but life's good when you get to know who you are.
Yeah.
When you get to be a person who recognizes what you want. And so here we are.
So, you're a lawyer, and I want to ask a couple of questions. I want to ask a couple of questions. So when it comes to what do you think is the leading cause of divorce in marriages?
I'm interested to know as well.
Yeah.
Because I had I was hosted somewhere for a talk show, and we were talking about navigating divorce.
Yeah.
And I think it would be interesting from somebody who works in that space to highlight and just share with us.
Yeah.
Well, the basics that I have had from my from where I stand, mainly it's three things: infidelity, finances. And this one is my personal take, not that it's a legal position, but I just believe people get into marriage for the wrong reasons.
How so?
You will find that a lot of people get into marriage without really understanding the obligations that come with marriage. I'll speak particularly to this generation in the sense that a lot of people are interested in the wedding, the chilanga mlilo, the dresses they are going to wear, how people are going to see them. Then they are really invested in what marriage is. Marriage is a coming together of two people with at least to the most common goals that they want to achieve. But you will realize that people never have honest conversations when they're in relationships. And so when they decide to get married, well, you have to live with this person every day. You have to see this person for who they are every day. If you're dating a person, I don't get to see you when you're at home. I don't know what you're like when you decide to take off your clothes? Do you throw your shirt there? Do you throw your shoes there? And then maybe I'm an organized person, and when I get home, I take off my shoes by the door. So people don't have those conversations when they're dating, because those are things that they overlook. Trust me, people have gotten divorced not because they don't love each other. If you're even asking, you can see that there's still love between these two people. But they are just things that they have failed to agree on. And so, number one cause that I have seen, in my opinion really, not necessarily what the law will give you, is that statistics will show you that infidelity is very high. Because most people like to take the easy road. So because you and me are not working, we fail to have those difficult conversations. You're highly opinionated, I'm highly opinionated. It's my way or the highway, it's your way or the highway. So the road in between can't really mesh between the two of us. And so in that particular case, you will find that because people are failing to have honest conversations and seek help, we would rather do what we think we must do. Also, traditional roles sometimes also play a role, in the sense that the man is made to believe he's the alpha, the woman is believed to be the weaker vessel. But now life has changed. Roles have been reversed. Women are earning more than men. And unfortunately, the manuscript doesn't come with a sense that because I earn more than you, I must still submit to you. I remember I listened to a preaching. Sorry, I'm a Christian, so I hope people don't take offense. Yeah, I remember I listened to a preaching that when I pick a husband, I must surely be ready to submit to him. So if I'm picking a partner, whether or not I earn more than they do, I must be ready to submit to them. But submission does not necessarily mean slavery. And that's been the misconception.
Too much.
So if you get married, you are expected to be responsible, not only for yourself.
Wait, but let me just stop you there. So what do you think is the difference between submission and slavery? Like, how would a wife be
I think submission is giving of yourself without the condition or the precondition of what will I get back. That is submission. At any given time that, Laz, you will be dating Azariah, you will not expect Azariah to do certain things that the two of you have agreed you're not comfortable with, and she's willing to make adjustments. But if the two of you discuss and then she does the opposite, that definitely will show you that there's no agreement between the two of us. She's listened, yes, but she's not agreed with what I have said. So when the two decide, for instance, and say, okay, if we're going to have a child, we will name the child after my mom. I have seen people divorce because her mom picked to name the child than my mom naming a child. And so it's always about your family. You get what I mean? But it's not even really that. It's just, I think the biggest problem is that people don't have honest conversations before they decide to commit. Marriage is a lifetime commitment. If God didn't want people to get married, he would not have created two different species, being a male and a female, even though people want to change who they are. But he created it because he knew there was a lock and key that required to be formulated.
And do you think social media has played a part in, divorce and relationship failing?
Yes, a very big role. In my opinion, social media has played a very big role because you remember earlier on before we started shooting, we were having a conversation. I was telling you that the biggest problem is what information are you getting out there? There is no guarding on what is being said. Today I wake up, I'm heartbroken, and I become an expert at heartbreak. And I give you from my perspective of hurt than my perspective of healing.
Expert through heartbreak.
So you become, and you see, either you're speaking from a point of hurt or you're speaking from a point of healing. Whichever way, it's your opinion and you think you're right. So it's the same with even jokes. Right now we're joking about load shedding and the problems we have. Nobody's joking about the solutions to the problems that we have. You get what I mean?
Too much complaints.
We are all just making complaints. But none of us has stood up and said, okay, let's go to CBU and see what CBU can come up with. it doesn't have to always take the government, for instance, to bring you a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Boiling it down to what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
where you see that you and me are not communicating properly,
Mm-hmm.
and the two of us can't seem to, it's okay to ask for help
Mhm.
from those that have walked the path before you.
Yeah.
But this generation knows everything, by the way.
Yeah, apparently.
We all know everything. We are
Apparently.
all well educated with
Yeah.
everything. We are self-righteous in
Mhm.
our own light. And every time we're called to be accountable,
Mhm.
there we fail.
Yeah.
And every time that I have seen people fail to agree or reconcile
Mhm.
is failure to stand accountable for what you're being called out for.
Mhm.
So divorce is probably put on the spotlight on that basis.
Mhm.
Your ability to be accountable, your ability to see that you've been wrong,
Mhm.
sometimes also your ability to stand in the shoes of your partner.
Mhm.
I recently learned about personality types.
Mhm.
And so I learned that how she communicates and how I communicate could be different.
Yeah.
I could be dominating in how I am as a communicator.
Mhm.
She may be a people pleaser and influencer, so she probably dims her light to try and make mine shine.
Mhm.
And it happens a lot. But imagine where over the years somebody keeps hurting you, somebody
Mhm.
keeps doing the same thing repeatedly.
Mhm.
If they don't seek help for that problem because it's their problem,
Mhm.
it will affect us eventually.
Mhm.
And how then I decide to react to it should not give you the right to say that I'm being unfair,
Yeah.
because I too want to be able to enjoy the relationship.
Yeah.
So bringing us back to divorce cases and why people divorce,
Mhm.
the three major reasons I have seen: money, infidelity, and failure to communicate.
When it comes to
Ah.
infidelity, who do you think is the one who
Wait.
mostly...
Before, yeah, I even wanted to ask that question, but before Azariah, you wanted to say something.
Maybe because the point has already, I mean, she elaborated something around the question he asked on submission.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to give like specific examples of what that would look like. Obviously, we do agree that a woman has to submit to her husband, right? But submission should not be abuse.
Mhm.
You know, how you would know that this is slavery is it comes out in form of, you know, some sort of abuse.
Yeah.
I'll give an example. If there's a decision that has to be made in a home, the man will just make the decisions without consulting or informing the wife.
Yeah.
If the wife has a say, or maybe she thinks otherwise, she'll be told, I'm the man, after all, you don't have to have your own addition in the conversation. I've already made up my mind.
Mhm.
This is me, this is it, this is how it's going to be.
Mhm.
I don't think that is a form of making a woman to submit. You're not consulting with this woman. It might even mean like, you know, actual roles, you know,
Yeah.
where a woman, because I've heard men say, I'm the man here, so yeah, you come from work, she's not allowed to have a helper like a maid. Imagine they are working moms these days. She goes for work, she's expected that when she comes back, she has to cook, she has to clean, she has to look after the kids. She goes back to bed at 24. If she fails at her duty, the man would say, you're not woman enough. Because I've seen other women who are more stronger than you. You know, my mother was stronger than you. She used to do
Yeah.
A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
you know, and my father never complained. He was, you know, like that sort of comparison. I don't think that is how submission looks like.
Yeah.
You know, obviously in submission, a man should also consider that this is my wife. And I think women function better when they are more like supported and a
Yeah.
bit laid back in
Yeah.
the way they do things.
Yeah.
So it's not making your woman to, I think in Zambia we have the term wife material. And sometimes I like to say it equates to, you know, like overworking a woman or, you know, this certain kind of criteria. Yes, we have wife materials, but that doesn't mean like, you know, they have to put up with everything that the man is doing.
Yeah.
I don't think that means that equals to submission.
Wait, so what do you think are the key factors a man should possess? So, you know, a woman would say, okay, this is the guy I can submit to. Like,
What do you look for in a man?
I think one thing for me is respect. A man who respects himself and he also respects other people. It could be family members, it could be colleagues, because I believe a man who respects himself is also respected out there.
Yeah.
And even the way that people will see you or perceive you as a man will change. The opportunities that they give you will be opportunities that equate to how you handle yourself and how you look. So if once a man is respected, I believe if you're under the cover of a man or a man that you submit to, you also earn that respect. I'll give an example. We have seen in communities where the husband is a drunk.
Okay.
Sorry to use this word.
True.
Like he's a drunk, whereby they'll bring them pabala, and everybody will say, there's a way that people will perceive you, people will perceive your home. So I believe it's respect in the way that he handles himself, the way he handles his business, the way he handles his home. That level of respect for me, I think, for me personally, is very, very important.
So basically, a man should stop being weak. He should respect himself. And basically those are the two things that you just exactly elaborated.
Yeah.
And you asked a question.
Yeah, I wanted to find out. She mentioned infidelity. So who among the two genders is mostly committing the infidelity?
Because now things have changed.
Yes. Before I get to who's committing which infidelity more than the other, just to add on to what she had said, when you ask about qualities, you have to be the qualities you want somebody else to see and you expect of others. Do not demand something you yourself can't give.
Exactly.
So if you can't respect yourself, don't expect me to respect you. If you can't cater for yourself, don't expect me to believe you can cater for me. And that is what submission will look like. And that is why even when you're picking who to submit to, it is that they have shown you they have the capability because it is within themselves. Nothing ever starts with another person. But the problem is we've got that mixed up. And I want her to give me what I can't give myself. And I demand it from her.
At the back.
I want her to give me what I can't give. And it is a problem with how then when you look at what submission and what you're weighing submission against is, you're requiring of somebody to give you something you yourself are not giving. Women are emotional beings. Men, Lord knows which word to use.
Well,
but
logical.
Yes, they are logical beings. So if I am expecting you to be emotional and take away your logic, it'll be a struggle for you.
Very much.
But if I respect the fact that you will analyze what I am doing or what I am trying to communicate to you, but respectfully be able to understand where I am coming from, you will find that you and me are in a best position to communicate because you will not shut down what I have to say. And so I won't shut down my voice because I want to please you. I will find that, like she said, I have a support system. I have a person I can depend on because there's a dependability also that you have to take into aspect. So there are many times that people get those things wrong and look at those things from a different view, and so mix them up along the way. And so what submission and slavery will look like, depending on who's looking at the situation, it will not really look like the submission that it should be. When you talk about respect for a man, I think for me, if you respect a man, you show him that you love him, because it means there's great consideration for who he is and how much regard you give to him. And men love their ego. No matter what,
believe
no
me,
matter what you
we
do.
like it stroked.
Yes, men love their ego and they love it stroked. So how well you navigate stroking that ego determines how well you're able to know the person that you're with. Weakness is not something that we are all weak in some way, both male and female, but how that shows up in situations differs. Now, when you talk about, we'll skip and rush to infidelity so that I don't forget your question. Right now, I think there's a 50-50 with infidelity. If men can do it, we can do it too. That's been the slogan I have been seeing. But you have to understand that you can never do something better than your teacher, because your teacher taught you.
So you're saying the men.
So no matter how good you are as a woman with cheating, the aspect is, what do you gain from it?
Exactly.
Okay, what satisfaction? Maybe you will have monetary gain, maybe you will have
affection,
attention. But the question is that if you're going to do something with secrecy and high level of secrecy, how happy really are you with that thing? there's some form of dissatisfaction that you will have.
Yeah.
And it builds a habit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether or not you're doing it because your husband did it or
Yeah.
because your boyfriend did it.
Yeah.
Really, it's not really about what the next person did. You made a decision.
I've
I
got a
always
question.
say,
And I also-
can I finish?
Yeah.
I always say
And before you ask,
that
I want to say
people-
something.
everything that we do
Yeah.
is a decision.
Okay.
I can decide to keep quiet. I can decide to speak up. Yes, circumstances differ, and sometimes people are in an environment where their voice is not allowed to be spoken because they have fear. But in a situation, an ideal situation, anything that I choose to do, I do it with a conscious mind.
Yeah.
So most of us do these things with a conscious mind, because I find it funny when people say, I saw a joke where they were saying, women don't cheat, it hurts more than you guys handle it. So why are men cheating against their partners and expecting them not to do back the same? Every time there's ideologies and there's systems that come into play, you are bound to question the things that seemed normal before. It seemed normal back in the day for a man to cheat and a woman not to. These days it seems normal that either party can choose so long as it makes them happy, but to the detriment of who? What's even worse is, for instance, those of us who have children. What are we teaching our children? What are we showing our children? What society do we want our children to see? Because we may enjoy it right now, but the consequences always lie with the generations that come after us. And so, in that particular vein, as people that want to advance change or want to advance positive outlook on certain things like what we're talking about right now, your question should always be, to what extent is the action that I'm taking going to affect the people that love me or look up to me? Because we all want to be seen in the right light,
True.
but we can only get what we give.
True.
We can only reap what we sow.
Yeah.
So the weight of infidelity, really, whether it be men or be women, unfortunately you've taught the wrong species. Women listen, and when they listen, they listen good.
Yeah.
You get. So
Yeah.
when they do it with a passion.
Yeah.
So whether or not, sometimes those are some of the things people should be thinking about. And also, again, it just generates and degenerates the society that we live in, because now we don't ration correctly.
Yeah.
It's so bad that we find ourselves wanting to advocate for polygamous laws to be instilled, like
And
that one.
I was about to ask you that
like
question.
that polygamous law that was, you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But you look at the societies that have those things as valid laws and are following. Are they societies that are thriving? If they are, look at what is working and what isn't, because some of them use them for totally different reasons. Economic gain, you understand. Those that, my understanding of those that I have seen who are, for instance, in polygamous marriages, the women are mainly used for farming and taking care and tending to. So it's not about love, it's about economic gain. So long as we can tend to the farm, we can till, I've got workers and I'm producing mini workers, which are the children that come into play.
Now I've got a question.
Yeah.
But why is it, since you talk about polygamy, why is it that most women actually are dating or want to marry a man who's already married? Why? How come it gets to that level?
I mean, isn't it obvious? Women have said that when a man is married,
He's got
more
better
attracted.
experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got
But
better
still,
experience, they're more attracted.
exactly. But still, they talk about, say, no, a man shouldn't cheat, a man shouldn't sleep with other women, a man shouldn't marry more than 2 women.
Okay,
But why is it that those same women are actually going after men who are married?
So these are some of the reasons that I hear from the streets.
Yeah.
Number one, they know that the man is already committed, so at least the heart is already prepared that there's another woman, because from their experience, I'm not speaking from my own, by the way, from their experience, they've dated men who they, thought are going to be their own boyfriends and husbands, just alone, but then maybe they were cheated on. It might be once, it might be twice. So because of that expectation that was not met, it's better they date somebody who's already committed, because your expectation of a heartbreak is less, since you know there's already another woman. But also, like she said, it's about status.
Yeah.
Also for a woman, where Maybe the guy that I'm dating, and I talked about this, especially for people who are a bit younger. You find that people who are within their age bracket, they might not be able to afford their lifestyle or to meet their material expectations. And then they meet somebody who's older, already married, is already established. He has things going well for himself and is able to cater to two women. He's sponsoring you to school, he's getting you the things that you need, and he asks you to be the second wife because of that comfort, that level of security. Well,
but
people
don't you
decide
think
they might as well go
but don't
for
you
the
think
man who's...
that makes them naive to think that the same commitment the husband gives to his first wife, they think they'll be able to get with them being the second wife? Don't you think that's a bit naive for women to think about that?
Some people, I don't think some people struggle with that, like I said, because they already know that there's another person. So if I be the second person, it's still fine, I'm okay with it. But not in a situation where you solely had this person and you thought you were the only one, and then they kept cheating on you. So I equally don't understand that level of reasoning, honestly. But I feel it's like a self-comfort of some sort, you know, to say, anyway, because I already know he's married. And when he's not with me, I know he's with another woman, so it's okay. But if I just have a boyfriend and I expect that his commitment is only going to be with me alone, then I'll feel let down. So if I'm with someone who I know is already taken or he has another woman, that's fine, because when he's not with me, I know maybe he's with the other lady. I don't know how that works psychologically.
And why is it that it's easier for women to forgive a cheating man, or supposedly a cheating man?
Isn't it
That's a
easy?
big-
Because
I think
for us men, it's difficult.
Yes, that's true. I think if I could say one thing, is that why do women, you asked the question of why are women comfortable with dating somebody that they know is already committed? Unfortunately, society tells us that a man must provide. Unfortunately, men these days believe they can only provide to someone who's their wife. I don't know how that works, what the logics are. And so you are expecting a person to give you something, or your girlfriend to give you something, but you're holding back because you're waiting to marry her. And this is not to take away from what she has said. So, and we have become a materialistic society. It doesn't matter what religious background you have. We are all materialistic. I won't exclude myself, because I probably wouldn't be wearing this particular shirt if I wasn't materialistic. So, because of the material desire to have in competition, if she's wearing Gucci shades, I must rock up with Armani something. People will always tend to gravitate towards someone who makes it easy for them to gain something than someone who has to make them go through the process to actually gain it.
I agree.
So whether it be women or men, because there are even men also who will be with other people's wives because of what they can give them, because the woman has money. Society has changed now. There will be men who will go out with other women who have money because they just don't see themselves in the light. Unfortunately, now even the men want soft life, just like women want soft life. So we are all competing with the soft life you get. So when you talk about whether or not, and I hope I'm not confusing what you asked, when you talk about what is the basis of that option, the basis of the option is the comfort and the ease with which a person will give you, because it's transactional between me and this person. I know he will give me money. He only wants a particular aspect of what he's probably not getting wherever it is that he's not getting. It's transactional. But imagine then the dynamics come and change, and the same man that's giving you all those things comes and demands that you become his wife. You will find that you will not be able to do the things and carry on the lifestyle you had before, where you will go clubbing all the time. He will demand you to be a wife. You understand? Now, once the rules change, that is where now you see a situation where those who manage, like she said, they'll go ahead and submit and give in. But there are those who know that I'm only doing this because I'm getting something out of this. But the minute that the demand comes on them that you have to adjust because I demand of you because I give you, they then start saying he's being unfair. After all, he's a married man. Why are you with him in the very first place?
Or if he says, I don't want to see you with another boyfriend.
Exactly.
She's like, but you are married.
But you're married, so why should I not?
Boyfriend?
I mean, if you can do it, I can also do it. Unfortunately, the dynamics of the of the things we did, like I said, the dynamics of the things we demand from others, we must always first ask ourselves, can we demand those things from ourselves?
Yeah.
So I get the fact that, like she said, it's comfort. He's got experience. He comes, and it's true, he's got experience. He comes having made the mistakes with her, and probably she's not able to give in to his nonsense. So now I don't know this version of his nonsense, so he's selling me the better side of who he is. Well and good. But at the end of the day, you will always see that if a person is not healed or is not corrected or is not held accountable of their particular behavior, even if he married me today, he will still marry somebody else after me and another person after me, because now it's become nature. It's become a habit, moves from being a habit to being an ideology to becoming your second nature. So unfortunately now, because I want it easy as a woman, I mean, all my friends are getting it easy because they're dating some man who's got money, and probably they don't care whether they have wives or not. So you will find that it's never really about whether or not he's married. It's about the things he's giving me, and so I don't care who gets hurt along the way. So the humanity aspect of it is taken away. So in the process, you now find yourself now being the one who wants to dictate to him, you can't be, you can't give, you can't, because it's transactional. Now I'm selfish, I just want to keep getting. So those are the things that people don't look at now when it comes to a situation where, because I have seen that even when these women will get into this, they still go ahead and find somebody else. So they're using you for your money, they're finding somebody else to give them affection. Because you don't have the time. It's not your nature to give time. It's your nature to give things.
I'm also reminded, actually, whilst we're having this conversation, that there are also women, in line with your question about dating somebody who's already taken. There are also women who feel like, number one, their biological clock is ticking. They can't find any other option. No one else is asking them to be their wife or even bearing kids with anybody. So they feel the safer option is at least you have one man who's interested in you, he's able to provide, and at least he'll give you some status and he'll give you some children that you don't want to have outside the marriage. So there are those also that we can talk about.
So before we actually go any further, I mean, we've got a topic that we definitely talked about. That is the signs that she's using you for money. So
well,
I wonder how much time we have.
I wonder so.
And I believe the signs are easy to spot. I just think that some people are a bit naive and a bit oblivious to the fact that it's very, very easy to spot if a woman or a girl is trying to use you for your money. Like, for example, every time you're trying to meet up at a place where it's not too costly, but she's giving you excuses, but the moment you say Chicago, she's right there. So I believe that, especially if you're a type of person who's like, okay, honey, would you want to go out for maybe like Hungry Line? No, that's too much for me. Let's go maybe have a pizza, or let's maybe go by Chicago's and all that. That's a clear sign that, okay, this chick wants the most expensive places. So it's very, I can tell that she's actually using me for my money. But most men are too, how can I say this?
Dumb.
Not too dumb. It's like they're too needy in terms of a woman's approval, to the point they weren't able to see that. So that's
and you think
sometimes
that's attractive?
You can say needy, but it might be love. When someone
but
is
you
in
think
love,
that's attractive?
as a
man being needy?
No. Anyway, not for me. I don't know about others, but for me, I really, it gives me off, like, it gives off negative vibes for me, and I feel kind of like choked. But I don't really know whether it's because somebody is naive. When both a man and a woman are in love, there's just like love clouds your judgment, and you want to do, it's not a bad thing. We look at it as a bad thing, but it's just that you want to make sure that the other person is happy, they have some level of comfort.
I have a question.
Nice.
I'll let her finish, but let me just ask a question. Do you believe there are bad women out there?
Yeah. Just as there are a lot of bad men out there, there are even bad women out there.
But based on this topic, I'm focusing on the women, right?
We are. So I'm responding I'm actually adding to your contribution, but I wanted to say I wouldn't even blame the man to say he's the one who's naive. I think people, when you are in love, you tend to do certain things that another person who's looking at you will think, I think about Badisha, or they think of it, say, guys, I think I don't know what that lady has done kuti
In a
he's behaving
boardroom.
that way. And you find he dates another person, his character changes. He won't even do those things.
Because
I
he's
think
learned
it's-
from his mistakes.
Yes and no.
which was even supposed to
But
happen.
I agree
It was
with
supposed to
you.
happen.
Like, so I'm agreeing with your point, but I'm just saying, in defense of the men and the women who go out of their way to, just make sure that the other person is happy.
Yeah.
I think it's love. But
No.
like you said,
I think
the signs are easy to spot,
Uh-huh.
especially if you are not in the equation itself. Because when you enter love can confuse you. It can make you brush your hair and comb your teeth. You know what I mean? It just confuses you. So yeah, you're right. Like, somebody can spot to say this person is using me. If they start placing unnecessary demands, like you said, you will find that you cannot afford something, and somebody knows. I think I made a video of this guy who asked me in the inbox to say my girlfriend wanted a phone, a brand new phone, and I got her a used version, but it was just as good as new. And she said, I'm not getting it, because why would you buy me a second-hand phone? But it was the same phone. It's just that it was pre-owned and he couldn't afford the brand new one. And she said, you're not talking to me for 3 months. In fact, I even told him, tell her you're not even talking to her for the rest of the year if she wants. Because anyone who's placing unnecessary demands on you doesn't have the best interest at heart. And I've seen instances where, I'll give an example, like you said, you invite her to say, let's go out for dinner. She comes with a bunch of friends, a bunch of friends, because she has told them, girl code, sorry ladies to say, she has told them to say, this guy is a spender, let's go chew his money. They are coming in a group because they're just chewing your money. It's not because, well, there are instances where she wants to show off that, I've got a good man, but then there are a lot of instances where she's getting everybody, I think the guys like to call them bandits. She'll get everybody, say, let's go, we chew this money, is a buy. But then, and instances we've seen where when leaving, she'll just say, no, I'm going with the girls, after they've chewed everything. And so if a lady is placing unnecessary demands on you, she knows that you cannot afford, but there's just that pressure. And last time I talked about where, and it even happens where you're in commitment and then your girl just sees, the friend has that, she has that, and she says, I also want that. If you say you don't have, she's going to pull up, some attitude, she's going to give you all this, throw these tantrums until you just get her that thing that she really wants. That is not healthy. So anybody who's placing unnecessary demand on you, especially financially, then just know they're using you for your money.
Do you think even if a woman actually asks for a financial bailout, or should I say a favor, all the time, is also part of the reason for her using you for your money?
Yes,
if
I
I
know.
could, asking for a financial bailout, you're asking for a financial bailout every time. How you get? I mean, why are you always stuck? Plan. Plan your life. Like, have a plan. It's okay for me to ask because you are my partner. Because you don't expect me to ask anybody outside you. Unless otherwise I should, and I am obligated.
Exactly.
But a financial bailout, that is for unnecessary things, like financial bailout to go to the club with my friends. That's not financial bailout. You get what I mean? I think for me, really, we as women also have to be realistic with the lifestyles we pick.
Exactly.
You can't have a lifestyle you are not able to finance. If you can't finance it, it's not your lifestyle.
I said that, and
it's
some
not,
women came for
it's
me.
not your category to get into. I mean, if you're able to finance it, well and good. If you do have a partner who finances it out of his own desire, even better, okay? But not to make it that it is a precondition to me believing whether or not you love me. That is not love. That is basically you, like going to your dad and making your dad an ATM and forgetting to love your father.
True.
If your father, unfortunately, some of us grew up as orphans, but we were raised to just have what you're given. Now, if your father doesn't give you what you desire, do you leave your father's house to go to somebody else and say, oh, my friend's father gives more money, so I'll go and live at their house? You live in your father's house. So if I pick and I'm with a man that has shown me from the get-go that they can't buy me iPhone 16 Pro Max. 16 Pro Max.
Yes.
I'm not an iPhone user, so I'm 16 Pro Max.
Yeah.
I'll
You and
get
I
the
both.
number right, And I'm expecting that man to go search high and low for an iPhone 16 Pro Max. He doesn't even have a house where he lives in. What really am I? You understand? So would you rather have a happy, loving, well flourishing man than a man that you stress all the time? He's growing hairs, gray hairs at 25.
Imagine.
You get.
Yeah.
So for the bigger part, signs that a person are using you, whether it be for money or for anything else, will always be there, male or female. It is because they are only with you when you're giving them something. When it is required of them to be present for you for the things that they are demanded to show up for, and they cannot show up for you, and they have excuses every damn time that you need them to be there. You have your signs. But like she said, you see, we speak, because I love someone, I make excuses for them. Because I'm invested. And relationships, and what relationships do is that they make us dependent on the person. So whether or not it's a good or bad relationship, there's a dependency that you have, because as bad as a relationship may be, there are good aspects that it has. Like she said, there's status that comes with somebody being in a relationship with X person. There's status that comes with being in a relationship, because when I go to a store, everybody's running after me because I'm married to X so and so. But genuinely, I feel that people must get to a place where you must be happy where you are and be content, even if you aspire for more. But don't make it that because I aspire for more, it must be a requirement for somebody to give me that life. You will be miserable because everything that comes at a cost. You understand? You will get the man who gives you money, but he may not give you the affection. He may not respect you. He may treat you like people treat women that, that they're transacting with. It's business. You get. So there's no attachment, emotional attachment, to know when I'm not talking or when I'm talking, she's moody. He goes to the person who's not moody. He has and worse off, we are in a society where there are options. You get. So because there are options now, throw your tantrums all you like. There's somebody waiting in line to pick up from where you are throwing tantrums. But when it comes to signs and saying, because it's preference, yes, but be preferential, that if the roles had to change, would you take the person to that place?
True.
If I can't afford cargo 88, cargo 88, and I want you to take me to cargo 88, where I don't even know what if they are calling it chipolata, which is just breakfast sausages. I don't even know what they are. Where you're ordering food and it comes and you don't even know how to say you don't want the food because you don't know that food. You are really being unrealistic. And unfortunately, there's a lifespan to everything, and there's a lifespan to everything. You can't be a sugar baby all your life.
True.
You get what I mean? True. At some point, you will have to be dependent on yourself. So others have made lives out of getting money from other people. Good for them. Kudos to them. But it's not really the ideal life for you to make and place it as a position for yourself. Because as much as you're showing us you're flourishing, we all know that you're very lonely. As much as you're showing us that, you wouldn't really emphasize to us that the lifestyle is good if it was good. People, even money, people that really have money don't make noise. They don't wear Gucci head to toe. They are dressed simply. Because they're not identified by the things they own. They are identified by the character of who they are within themselves. So that's why today you can take away money from Bill Gates, he'll still make the same money, triple it over. But if you took away from me a man who's giving me the things that he's giving, I'll be confused. Because I've never known a day in my life how to support myself. And worse off, people have a problem with adjusting.
That's the thing.
I notice it that today I'm failing to adjust with where I am because Azariah is carrying a Coach bag. So it's like it's a competition. But who's giving us rewards for these things? These competitions, these lifestyle competitions we're placing ourselves in, there's no reward except the reward of misery, except the reward of every day. People are stealing to just, I go to her house, I was surprised to hear people steal a wig. Like those wigs, and how women don't wash their hair. How you're stealing a wig?
It's not also just people stealing like
men
women, but men stealing to please their wives or girlfriends.
Somebody goes to the gym and you go and pick perfume and somebody's spray from their gym bag.
Really?
So why are you in the gym if you can't afford to be in the gym? I mean, because at 500 kwacha you're paying subscription, you could find yourself a very good spray in ShopRite for 120. Then you go and steal. So we place the wrong expectations on ourselves. We would do well for ourselves to have very realistic expectations. Life is not a competition.
True.
I wanted to...
Because I also wanted to say something, like also one of the signs as well. One of the signs is that when a woman lives a lavish lifestyle without any source of income, and this is what I've really seen a lot. You know, you find that...
So, you know, the sorry, not to cut you short, what I wanted to just say was something quite quick, because I wanted to just kind of like highlight her point on people asking you for favors constantly. I think that was the point that she was raising on. Not because I know when we move past this, you're going to the next point.
Okay.
And I just wanted to explain a little bit on how that might look like, especially for a young person or a young man. You know, and favors, like she said, is not just financial favors. It can be different types of favors, you know, or come and pick me. She didn't even tell you the plan to say, I'm going out with my friends. Yeah, even to Chongwe. She just say, you know what, I'm done with my program. And they have no courtesy at all. They'll just tell you, you know what, I went to Shanshan with my friends. Come and pick me. And you're just like a taxi driver. You know, not that I have a disregard for taxi drivers, but you're a chauffeur in short. Somebody's just using you for your services. They might not ask for money, but they've just made you as a person to drive them to and fro. They only need you when it's convenient to them, you know. Maybe they need an assignment done. Maybe it's school. They only call upon you to say, you know what? They know you're brilliant, by the way. They know you can do the work. So they'll just call you when it fits them to say, come and help me with the assignment. And it ends there. Next time you call them, they are not picking your calls like we talked last time. They are not responsive, like she said, where if you need help from them, they are busy all of a sudden. They cannot reciprocate. So those are some of the sure signs that you can know that someone is just surely using you when they're constantly asking for favors, not just money, but if you convert the same favors, they'll still equate to money, because time is money, energy is money.
And just to say, it doesn't always border down to relationships, even just in friendships. I'm grateful I have a best friend who, if I'm not showing up for her as I should, she will call me out for it and hold me accountable. The sure sign that you will know this person is using you is that if you ask them, why are you only always calling me when you need something? And they will be very defensive. Then listen to what you are saying. You get. So even sometimes unconsciously, unfortunately, we become comfortable with the people that we're with. And we take them for granted. But taking somebody for granted sometimes doesn't guarantee you that person will always be there. So when you find that I am demanding of you to give me, even when you have said you don't have, that too is a sign. In circumstances where I'll give you an example. You're having a conversation and you're saying, you know what, this month things have really been rough. Money has been tight. I've invested, but I haven't yet gotten yields. What you're telling me. Then the next thing I'm saying is, you know what? My friends were saying that there's going to be this party at X place and the ticket is 1,000 kwacha. You just told me that money is tight, things are rough, and the next thing I'm saying is there's a party for 1,000 kwacha.
I think before we go in,
then we even rush and come and say, oh no, babe, do you think you can dash me a 1,000 kwacha? I just told you things are rough. Sometimes again also it's a situation where if you find yourself always being in a position where you only want things from people, like even men, I think I see it where there are friends that will only invite you when they want to drink, when they want to have a good time, but they will not invite you when there's a serious business deal that they know that you will also benefit, and if you benefit, at some point, if they had to be down, you'd come in and chip in because you remember at the back of your mind, my friend helped me. So we need to. It borders, I think, on selfishness. It borders on self-centeredness. This so-called "I'm loving myself" has absorbed us to misunderstanding what loving yourself means. True. Because you've become a people that are so consumed with loving yourself so much that now it's become selfish that you don't even see that there's due disregard for everybody around you.
Yeah.
So it's very, sometimes he said naive, sometimes it's not even naivety. Sometimes I just believe it's people bordering dead right on abuse because they know you're a good person.
Yeah.
And
I
they know
agree.
that you don't have the right, you're not good at saying no.
Yeah.
So when you learn someone, you learn who they are, you learn what they do, you'd forget that as much as they are capable of doing those things, they're human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So women will demand something. I mean, if you want to date people that are going to finance your lifestyle, leave somebody's son alone. Tell them thank you very
Actually,
much.
no, there's a
And be
statement out
honest
there.
and say it's not
Yeah.
because I it's not you, it's not me. You know that conversation, it's not you, it's me right now.
Yeah.
No, just tell them, me,
Yeah.
this is the lifestyle I want,
Yeah.
this is the standard I've set for myself,
Yeah.
and I think I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Don't go pressurizing somebody else's
Yeah.
son
Yeah.
and make them steal money
Yeah.
just because of you, when you will never, not even a single day, go to prison and serve them
Yeah.
any food.
True.
Because
True.
you don't really care.
True.
Yeah.
So people need to be conscious, or people out there need to be conscious of the fact that if I know she's not capable from the get-go, let's not even get to where we are getting each
Yeah.
other's members involved. Let's leave it at a place where we can just both walk away and peacefully depart.
I wanted to just make a
'Cause
statement
that's
to
why-
say-
Yeah, because you talked about a lavish lifestyle. So
Yeah.
that's the point I was trying to
That's
point,
true.
Oh, yeah.
point across. Like, if a woman is actually living a lavish lifestyle, and the fact is that you don't know where her source of income is actually coming from, well, as a man, and you see that her dating pool is not consistent with men, you know, she's not in a committed relationship, well, those are definitely one of the signs that men should actually look out for. You know, 5 minutes. Okay, so we've got like
There's just one statement I wanted to say.
10 seconds.
In line, very, very short
Yeah.
statement. If you really want to taste that someone is with you for you, start saying no. If you know that someone is constantly asking you for things, start saying no, or pretend you are broke. You're going to see their real intentions.
Yeah, true,
I
true.
agree.
Nomsa?
If you really just want, I mean, not even if you really want to, the signs are always there for anything. Just be open enough to be able to accept that the signs are there.
Yeah.
Don't talk yourself down, don't talk yourself out of it. Your gut feeling will always tell you.
Yeah.
And listen to it. Listen to your intuition. Like she said it. If a person says no, and that particular person, every time they say no and they're indifferent to you, you will know that this person is not with you
Yeah.
for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And their intentions are not to be with you because of it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to talk yourself and say, I'll work hard, I'll do better. I'm seeing podcasts that are saying a man must work hard. We are placing unnecessary expectations that we are exhausting our men to the extent that we don't have healthy men mentally anymore, because they're having to chase paper that they don't rest at some point because they have to meet these particular world standards. Just be you. Work at your pace. Life is not a microwave, and there's nothing that happens overnight. You build. So if a person is going to come and make a demand of you you're not capable of giving, respectfully excuse yourself. If you're a person who's going to make a demand of somebody else that you yourself can't give yourself, do not call them out, or do not be upset when they decide to walk away from you, because we are just tiring each other out, really.
Amazing.
Well, I
Yes.
personally believe that as a man, it's better to be able to exercise your options. Like, you need to be able to socialize with multiple different kinds of women so that you're able to identify from the bad ones to the good ones. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Amazing.
pity we have 5 minutes. I was about to ask, when you say socialize,
We'll get into that later. So anyway, this is for women. You know, this is specifically for women, is that if a man opens up, if he really, really opens up, don't you ever use what he said against him, because men are emotionless. Men are not emotionless, actually. We've got deep emotions. When you use that in a moment of vulnerability, when you use that against him in the moment of vulnerability, believe you me, he will never speak to you again. Because the fact is that a lot of guys out there will try to open up to their woman, and then they wonder why the guy is never open to them. You know, they wonder why he's so quiet. It's because when he was trying to open up, you shut the door on him. So for the women out there, you really need to be careful of how you present yourself when a man is opening up to you. You know, not because he's weak, not because he wants to be vulnerable. It's because you are his partner. So the fact is that he wants to sit down and talk to you about the things that he's going through. So you need to be careful of how you respond to whatever he's trying to say to you. So basically that is what I want to say. So we are ending the show. It was fantastic having Nomsa and of course Azariah, you know,
Thank
and
you
Laz.
so much for
Yeah.
having me on the show.
No, you said a lot, and believe you me, it was very, very interesting, you know. And we definitely loved what you said. Even Azariah as well, we loved what you said. You know, you came with bullets, you know. So, yeah, so make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to like our page, that is Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. So it's been fun, it's been amazing, it's been great. I'm your host, DC, and of course, I'm joined by Laz. We are.
Thank you very much. Bye.